Welcome. Welcome to the AMZ Wealth Builder free introductory course Invest on the Initial Investment to be the most customer-centric brand on Amazon. Now this is totally unique. No one is providing the total initial investment required. And it took a couple of steps to get here. I had to walk you through the economics of a single product, show you the front-end investment and the negative cash flow in that first year, the low point in cash flow from the single product. We had to look at the growth rate of adding new products. We had to see the cash flow statement in the first year from the growth of the additional products, from adding the new products. And we saw that we hit a low point of cash just from building the business, reinvesting our cash flows of around $12,000. Now that was predicated on turning our inventory every 2 months, but we understand the number and that was the low point. But as I said then, that's not the total investment. Now we're going to take a look at the total investment. So first we're going to look at what I'm going to call one-time investments. The big one here is being brand registration. The Amazon IP Accelerator program set forth a list of law firms, and if you use one of those law firms, you will be brand registered for your first product, and that's essential. The entire business plan is predicated on that, because only with brand registered do you get video, and video is 3.6 times more likely to convert than just text. And I have a whole section following this on brand registry, the benefits of brand registry, 10 benefits of brand registry. I show you examples of products with good listings and products with bad listings, but you got to have brand registry. And the firm that I am quoting from had a price of $3,225. Now, in the complete training program, what I'll do is I'll give you a list of every firm that's offering brand registry, every law firm, and what their fees will be, and you can select. And I think you may be able to save a few bucks here, but for purposes of this, that's the cost. And it's a substantial cost, but it's essential. The next is the Amazon fee. There's a professional seller fee. It's actually an annual fee, but I put it in here as a one-time, just so you see your first year fee of the Amazon professional seller. And that's just what you have to do to be in the category of FBA merchant that we're talking about. The next is logo design. You need a logo. You're going to create a brand, and that brand is going to have a name, and that's the name that you're going to get trademarked. You need a logo for that because as we go through the training, you're going to see that you're going to have an Amazon store, and it's going to have a logo on it. You're going to have packaging that will have a logo on it. Your brand name has to appear on every item you sell, and it should appear in the form of a logo. And I'm assuming that you use a first-class firm and can get a logo done for about $1,000. And that's the logo for the brand, not for the specific products. We talk about that separately. And then there's the cost of this training. Now, I really didn't want to disclose the cost of the training till the very end when I put it in the context of all that you're getting. So there's the last lesson here is investment for success, and it puts the entire training in context. But here it is. I want the training to be priced at $2,795, but I'm going to do an initial launch price of $795 for the first 50 individuals who participate in this program. And we're new. You're going to be a first-time training participant, and I'm excited. I'm excited to have you in the course, but the full benefits of the course and everything that's included is discussed in the Investment for Success session, but this gives us this total one-time number of $5,488. So that's a starting point as we start to add up the cost of the initial investment. The next are the tools. the annual subscriptions. And here it's just a price list. In an additional lesson, I take what I call a light dive, where I explain in detail what each of the services provide, which each of these subscriptions provide. And in the full training, we take the deep dive, where we go deep into the full functionality of each of these tools. But let me walk through these quickly so you understand what the subscriptions are for and the cost. The first is A2X for Amazon, and that connects Amazon Seller Central to QuickBooks. And the second is QuickBooks, which is a financial reporting system. So you sort of got to look at these two as one. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. We're building a business to sell, and the buyers want accurate and timely financials, and you need accurate and timely financials to manage the business. These two tools get you there with tremendous ease. The A2X for Amazon is fabulous because what it'll do is it automatically links from Seller Central into QuickBooks. So every financial transaction that goes through Seller Central, all your sales, all your returns, all your fees are recorded and transmitted right into QuickBooks. QuickBooks will provide you a balance sheet, income statement, statement of cash flow, and we'll talk in the other section about how you input into QuickBooks your other expenses, such as your inventory or these subscriptions. Okay. The next two are your research tools, Helium 10, the Platinum Plan, and Jungle Scout. Now, actually, those are the first two things you're going to subscribe to when you initiate and make the decision to become an Amazon FBA merchant. Helium 10 is $970, Jungle Scout $588, and I strongly encourage you to have both, and I'll go into that in more detail further on in the course. Feedback Wiz, this is a really important tool because once you start selling, and you don't have to buy Feedback Wiz or Review Index at the outset. You got to buy Jungle Scout and Helium on day one. What Feedback Wiz does, it provides you with a notification every time a customer initiates contact with Amazon. So if there's a return, if there's a refund, if there's a negative complaint against you as a seller, anything, you're going to know that immediately. And in terms of being customer centric, you got to respond to that. You got to love and hug that customer. I don't care what they say, they're right. And we're going to make them feel great. And I'm going to go into great depth on this in the complete training program. I talk a little bit more about it in the section on the tools, but you need this. It's essential. Review Index is a real cool piece of software because what it does, it takes anything that's being sold on Amazon and it categorizes its reviews. So in the product selection process, when we're trying to improve upon products, this is going to be one of our key tools. So this shows a total price of $2,868. Now the reality is I'm an affiliate of all of these. There will be an initial discount. It's in the section on the tools, and there'll be links in the course to get that discount in that section of the course. But the discounts aren't here because I just wanted to round up and be conservative so you knew what the total cost was on an ongoing basis, especially because a lot of the discounts are for the initial purchase, not the renewals. But here it is, the $2,868, and I can assure you, you will pay the lowest price of anybody for these services because of the relationships that I've developed. So what do we have? We have subscriptions at $2,868, brand registry and the training $5,488. Your first year low point in cash, if you remember this from the 4-year model, was like $11,600, but I'm rounding it up to $12,000. I'm saying you should have $5,000 in working capital. Anything can happen. You can be very successful and your products can sell faster. You could have a holiday season where your shipments are going to take longer and you need some flexibility in your working capital. So having some working capital is an important component, and this totals $25,356. I'm going to round it off and say it takes about $25,000. That's the total initial investment to build this business. And it's really modest relative to the business you're building. If we take a look at the balance sheet that was in the 4-year plan, we saw that you were going to have total assets at the end of 4 years of $546,000. You'd actually taken out, and you had the opportunity to take out in cash $478,000. So your total investment of just the cash, your assets, your cash plus inventory, is 4.6%. But we want to sell this business for $1 million. And the $25,000 is 2.5% of the initial investment. And you're in return on investment, a $25,000 investment, $1 million sale, 40 times. Now, I'm not guaranteeing you're going to get that, but I am saying it's a realistic plan. The numbers are realistic, and that's the market. You have to execute. You have to execute. But that's the scale of the opportunity you're looking for. So when you put it in the context of what the business that you're building, the initial investment is modest. The first year cost per product launch. In the single product economic model, we clearly disclosed a $4,000 expense every time you launched a new product. What I just want to do is make sure that I'm clearly outlining the elements of that number. So the images and video, and boy, do I beat this up a lot in the training. I mean, I'm crazed about you being the most customer-centric merchant on Amazon. I'm crazed on the power of video, your images, your infographics, and just to do it right is going to run you around $2,500, and that's the number that's in the plan. You have to have a label on every product. So if you're selling, I won't even use an example here, but just each product needs its own label, and you want that designed professionally. You're probably going to have packaging, and you're going to have the packaging label, and that type of work can be done, can be outsourced for about $500 per product, and that's why we have it in there. The other expense we have is a copywriter. Even though I'm crazed about the images, the copy has to be fabulous. And I'm going to highly recommend a third-party service. I'll disclose her name in the full training. She charges about $800. She books 2 months in advance, so you'll retain her services the day you make your decision to purchase a product. And that's a total of $3,800. But that's going to give you a listing that's going to be hugely advantaged. The most customer-centric listing on Amazon. If you have the most customer-centric product, pricing, all of that go together. But that's all what's included in the business plan for the $4,000. So this concludes the discussion of the initial price, initial cost to launch and be an Amazon FBA merchant, where you're the most customer-centric merchant in your category. So thank you.